Go live. All right. What's up, guys? It's Damien and Ben here.
Hey.
So we're going to be changing a couple things up with these live videos. And what we're planning on doing is we're going to put this car together, and I'm going to just make a collage of all the video clips and eventually put it into a really good video. But with these live videos that we're going to be doing is pretty much updating you guys what we have done for by the end of the day, or by the end of the time that we're done spending on this car, until we put some more time and effort into it. Ben will actually be working on certain things that will eventually, we have a list of things that we need to get done throughout the week, and then we pretty much meet up once a week to work on the car. Now, to give you guys updates on what we have done so far,
Let's check it out.
I'm just gonna move over here, and pretty much, clearly, there is no engine in that engine mount, because we finally figured that out. Ben and I are smart enough to finally put it in.
We know how an engine hoist works.
Exactly. So here's the engine, and what we've decided on, originally we were not going to use this rear section because Ben had at one point thought about having the engine centered with the chassis, but instead we're not going to do that. We're going to have the engine offset, and then you
The
said
turbo. So the turbo, instead of having the differential offset and the engine centered, we're going to keep the differential centered, and then we'll offset the engine, and then the exhaust manifold will come right around here. And so we'll balance the weight with the turbo and some of the manifold, and that way hopefully we can get the weight balance pretty even.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so that's pretty much the plan. And another thing that we actually were originally struggling with is this car is going to be way too big, and we didn't needed another table. So let me just go to this side. We got this table built, and this table is pretty much going to be sitting on this side. So the whole rear section of the car is from this roll hoop all the way to the back, and then we're going to move pretty much this table that we got built to the front of this table, and then the whole forward section of the car is going to be sitting here. And what else? What else could we tell you guys that we have done? We are also setting up the chain to align the the sprocket and the rear differential. If you guys could see that. So the chain actually is a little too long, which is okay, but we're going to get what's that tool called?
Chain breaker.
Yeah, we're gonna get a chain breaker to make sure that the chain is exactly the length that we need for this
Keep it tight.
engine and sprocket. So yeah, there have been a couple other things, because we actually didn't know whether or not we were going to start with the front of the car or the back of the car. So we actually ended up cutting a bunch of sections right down here. Here's just a good example. Here's a LB4. So these are labels that are on the drawing. And then do I have it on here? No, this one I did not. So pretty much what I started to do, here's one. Here's a basic one. So pretty much this is LB3, and then I wrote how long it is. That actually reminds me. Ben has decided to actually make the front of the car longer so that he can position himself inside the car more comfortably.
I'm just gonna make the cockpit about 4 inches longer than it should be.
Okay.
Just because I'm 6 foot, and when you're wearing a helmet, you need to be, with the helmet on, you need to be at least 2 inches below the top of the roll hoop. So just to be sure, I want to make sure I can lay down nice and flat down
Nice
in
and
the
comfortable.
Yeah, get in there. Nothing's comfortable about race cars.
Yeah,
dude.
you're pretty much very snug, very tight.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, but the back section is we're actually going to be modifying some of the back section.
This might not be the exact length. There might be a little bit more room between the engine and the main roll hoop. And this will be where the firewall is. But more or less, this is exactly how the rear end will look.
Yeah, exactly.
And the suspension, the A-arms will come out from here and here. And then we'll have a car on wheels.
Yeah, so, and then the other thing that was, that took us a little bit, and yes, I'm going to be pointing the finger at Ben, but pretty much it has been, 5-6 years that you've been really trying to be consistent in welding?
I took a really long break.
It was a very long break, so pretty much what Ben ended up doing is he cut up a bunch of pieces of metal and practice welding, which, believe it or not, his welds start to look a lot better from, you know what? Look how bad that was. Anywho, so we spent a couple weeks, like I said, building this table. Actually, we might have a metal grill or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna try and build like another bench top and make it out of steel. So when we're working on the car, we can ground clamp to this table as well, instead of just hoping that the ground crosses from table to table through the metal. That way we can just work on separate pieces, and not have to worry about getting electrocuted.
Yeah. So that's, I think that's pretty much it. So new table, we're gonna build a new ground table so that we could be welding. Similar to what you see here, that he had this dedicated plate for this table, and now that we have a second table, we'll need to build one of those. And I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you want to add, Ben?
I'm just glad we're finally making some progress.
Yeah.
It looks like it's full steam ahead, and we'll keep posting updates.
Yeah. So like I said, after every time that we make some great progress with this car, we'll post a quick live update, just like you guys see here. So to summarize, we have the engine. We're aligning it up with the rear differential. We have the chain hooked up, and then we're gonna have to modify the chain's length. And along the way, I'll be creating some nice video content later on, and then I'll post like a full-blown video of all this step by step and showing like how much that the car has come along. So besides that, if you guys like this type of content and you guys want to follow this project, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.
Later, guys.